I felt so much like, I guess the early messaging was to me, even though, and I know that all the adults in my life now, if I told them how I perceive being a child, would rush around to deny the ways in which I interpreted things that happened around me. But it doesn't really matter because that is how I absorbed it, and I acted accordingly. But the messaging for me was I felt unloved. I had friends that had two-parent household, or households that I looked up to. I know now as an adult that two-parent household doesn't equal happiness, and neither does a family that looks happy doesn't even translate to them being happy anyway. Every family has its thing. Even the happy ones have their things, right? But as a child, I felt like a lone agent, a free radical, if you will, just kind of there existing. And so, yeah, I just kind of acted like a lawless person. There was a lot of escaping. I would run away from home. I would not want to leave my friends' houses, especially if I just projected and or perceived their family to be more warm, welcoming than mine. Then you would be hard pressed to, especially if that family wasn't rushing to have me leave. I would leave at the absolute latest. And I think I still exhibit some of that as well. Like if I'm hanging out with like the right people and the vibes are really good, I can have a real hard time wanting to finish that time and being like, okay, now it's done, because I'm so happy to be received, seen, loved, accepted, that I want to bask in that for as long as possible, because there's different aspects of my life where I feel ostracized and projected upon, bullied, and all of the things. Even though it's much less so these days, I think these days I still see that, but more in like adult coded language and behavior where people think that you can't read it, but you can because you're really intuitive and you've had to be hyper vigilant ever since you were a child because of your upbringing. And so now I notice all the little things, and being psychic too, I'll know if you are, at first, maybe you might fool me for like a second. I'll be like, okay, this person really likes me. But if I start noticing micro expressions, I'll eventually realize, oh my God, you're nice to me, but not about me. I can very much see that pretty soon after I start a relationship with someone, like a friendship or a romantic relationship. I can eventually notice that, like, oh my God, even though you don't think I know, I can tell that you have the makings of someone who probably talks about me as soon as I leave, and you'll talk about all the things that you hated. But in the moment, you were telling me everything that you thought I wanted to hear so that you could gain my approval, because really, you're probably jealous of me and you're probably wanting acceptance from me weirdly, but then wanting to lord over me by critiquing me so that you can feel higher than me, because once you met me, you decided in your own mind that I was higher than you. So you've categorized yourself, you've put yourself above me. Sorry, you've put yourself beneath me by thinking I'm above you, or thinking that I think I'm above you, which I don't. I don't think I'm above anyone. And so you project that onto me, and then slowly I'll start to see the hateration in the way that you respond to things, or the way that you want me to downplay my accomplishments. And you get upset, or you'll make little comments that when I was younger, I would have been really confused by why you would make a comment that kind of seemed laced with this other energy. But now as an adult, I'm like, oh, I know what I recognize now that when people make these comments,